Thank you. Please stand with me as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Board of Adjustments is a 9-member board. We're appointed by the City Council, and we serve on a voluntary basis without compensation. Our procedure for conducting business is I will call each petitioner's name. You'll please come forward, speak into the mic, and then and then present your request. And then anyone who might want to address that particular item or have a question about it will be given that opportunity to come forward and express their concerns and their opinions. Once we receive public testimony on that particular item, the members of the board will deliberate and we will render our decision tonight. I'll remind any member with a personal or financial interest in any particular item, you're required to recuse yourself from voting. Any testimony submitted by the petitioner or on behalf of the petitioner during any presentation of the agenda item will be binding as to any decision the board makes relative to the motion. If a motion to deny an item is made, a reason must be given. That means if a motion is made to deny your particular item, the board member will have to give a reason for the denial. This time I'll introduce the members who are here tonight. Ms. K.T. Brown, Mr. Steve Hughes, Mr. Nathan Williams, Ms. Jennifer Shaw, Mr. Bart Prince, Mr. Pickett Reese, Mr. George Howell Jr. I'm John Stanley, your chairman. We have 8 members here tonight. It requires 5 members, 5 votes to approve a motion. So if the motion does not get at least 5 votes, that motion is denied. Any questions? Tanya, do we have any delays or withdrawals tonight? We do not. Okay. We have 8 items on the agenda. We'll start with the first item on the agenda tonight, presented by Joseph Mitchell, requesting a height variance and a street side yard variance for pillars and a wall to be located at 554 East Fairview Avenue in an R75S zoning district. Mr. Mitchell? Can you speak into that a little closer and louder? I don't think that volume is quite loud enough.
Yes, I'm requesting permission to rebuild the wall and 2 pillars that was removed years ago by the previous owner. The wall and pillars will be on the side street on Maston Lane. It will match the existing height of wall that goes around the entire backyard and other side yard between my house and the neighbors. There's currently rebar that's sticking up in the locations where I'm proposing to build the wall and pillars. My neighborhood association does not know what year the wall was torn down, but the rebar has been sticking up in that location for a number of years. So this view you're seeing here is looking at the house from Maston Lane, and it's the 2 pillars there that'll be brick, and the wall on the right that'll also be brick and painted in the approved color palette to match the house.
Okay. Architectural Review Board approved this request on August 23rd.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, board members? Is there anyone in the audience who would care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that
Ms. Brown?
I move that we grant the variance.
Have a motion to approve. Have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Reese. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It looks good.
Thank you.
Item 2 is presented by Arthur Perry. Mr. Perry here. Mr. Perry. Requesting a special exception to store a recreational vehicle in the front setback of a dwelling located at 2810 Ashley Avenue in an R100 zoning district.
Hello. Mr. Perry could not be here because he's out of town for work, and he was requesting to speak for himself by cell phone. Go ahead and present your
Speak
case.
for himself by cell phone.
Yes.
Now, this is a first. I've never had that at this board.
Okay,
And I don't think it's appropriate and fair for us to have to hear something like that.
okay,
So either you speak for him and make the petitioner's request, or he'll have to be here.
okay. I shall speak for him.
Do you
He's-
choose to do that?
Do you choose for me to speak for you? They're not allowing it to speak by speakerphone, so I need to speak for you, or you need to come at another time.
You can delay till next time if you'd like.
Do you want to delay for the next time? Do you want to delay until the next hearing? Okay. Because it's either I speak now or they need to delay
They
it.
need to hurry up.
Okay, okay. Basically, he was not aware that a motorized vehicle could not be parked in the driveway. There's a pad that the vehicle,
Ma'am, are you making the presentation on his behalf?
yes, I am.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. All right, we'll hear it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He was not aware that the motorized vehicle could not be parked on the driveway. It sits on a pad that is off of the street. It is not blocking view, and it's not sitting on the grass.
We understand that. That's why you're here. And also, there was a complaint from someone,
Okay.
okay? And are you aware why it's not compliant?
Because it
It
was,
doesn't have anything to do with a pad. It's the zoning ordinance requires that recreational vehicles may not be stored on public streets.
correct,
Recreational vehicles shall be stored in such a manner as to be substantially hidden from public view. And recreational vehicles stored on private property shall be stored behind building setback lines as defined by this ordinance, which means that recreational vehicle is supposed to be behind the front building line of that home. And I believe Mr. Perry's house sits on a corner, correct?
that is correct.
And so is there a way that he can find somehow or another put that RV in his backyard and he can come in off of Brantwood Drive?
Okay.
So that's where we are. Do you want to continue or do you want us to make a decision on it?
Yes. Hello.
Ma'am, we don't have time for you to continue conversation.
Well,
With him.
it's just, what about the other RVs that are seen parked?
Ma'am, we're
Yes.
dealing with this one. We'll deal with the others if they come to our attention.
Okay. Is there also in the section shows that if there is a complaint, if it's parked in your back setback, how is that dealt with?
I'm sorry, the what?
The Part D,
Right. Well, it just says they must be, if they are stored on private property, they have to be in compliance with the above requirements.
okay,
He's not in compliance because he's storing it in his front yard, forward of his front building line, or
Okay.
the front of his building, okay? The
Yes.
setback, front building setback, okay?
Right.
You
I
follow
understand,
that? And so he's not compliant.
okay,
He's got to find another way to
another way to store
To
it.
place it, and he can put it in the backyard if you can figure out how to get it in the backyard, but it's got to be substantially hidden from public view. Okay? Any questions, board members?
No, you entertain a motion?
Jennifer, you got a question?
Yes.
Ms. Shaw?
If it's stored in the backyard, like behind the pool area or whatever, would that be considered,
Compliant?
yes?
If it is substantially hidden from public view, yes.
Okay, but it's sitting on a corner, so what would, he
I
would
don't
have
know.
to do?
We
he
just
would
have to see.
He would have to do
They
something
would have to
else
determine that.
besides just moving it to the backyard.
That's correct. That's up to them.
Wouldn't we have to deal with that if it's brought before us?
Yes, we would.
What did you say, Ms. Spring?
Wouldn't we have to deal with the question that you're asking when it comes before us?
Oh, okay.
Yes, we would.
Well, may I
So
make
it's
a
going to be up to
suggestion?
the petitioner, not up to us, to determine whether or not it's substantially hidden.
Okay, may I
Okay.
make a suggestion? That, I don't remember what you said your name was, but considering that the petitioner himself is not here and he needs to fully understand what we're saying, do you think maybe it might be best if we put it off to the
Another
next
later.
meeting?
Well, I gave her that option, and so she decided to go for it. I'm going to call for the question here in a moment.
Okay.
Okay? Anyone else got any questions? Ms. Brown, you want to give us a motion?
I move that,
Huh? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against this particular item?
Brantley Lyons, a district counselor for that district.
Yeah,
The neighborhood opposes their request for a variance. You're right about the ordinance. It's the plain meaning of the language dictates what they need to do. If you look at the front corner where that pad is, I don't think what they're understanding, the setback lines of the front corners of that house, that RV needs to be back behind that, behind a fence or what have you. And we would just ask that you deny the request. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Y'all can come on up and just stand in line if you like.
Well, we'll need to do the same thing again.
Thank you for granting me permission to speak a few minutes. My name is Marie Updike, and I live in Morningview at 3071 Brevard Avenue. The owner at 2810 Ashley Avenue is reminded about the rules prohibiting storage of recreational vehicles on the residential property. These are rules to protect our Morningview neighborhood, rules which also prohibit storage of broken down vehicles, trailers, commercial vehicles, and boats. These rules are in place to preserve the appealing character of our neighborhood and to prevent eyesores and other problems that can result when recreational vehicles are parked for long periods of time in residential areas, or when storage activity inside illegally parked recreational vehicles is wrongly taking place. Increasingly, the city is seeing RVs, commercial vehicles, and non-working cars and trucks taking up permanent spots in the backyards, the front yards, and the driveways of homes across the city. Our residents will continue to report any violations that detract the lovely look of our neighborhood in Morningview. Please know that our Eastbrook Morningview Neighborhood Association is very active, and we're prepared to notify the zoning board of any violations in our area concerning ordinance 10.5.b residential vehicles, and that's ordinance number 3173, which says, recreational vehicles shall be stored in such a manner as to be substantially hidden from public view, and ordinance 10.5.c, which says, recreational vehicles stored on private property shall be stored behind building setback lines as defined by this ordinance. And this particular RV is very tall, and it's beyond my comprehension how it can be hidden from public view even if it's parked in the backyard. So I would recommend that you deny the request. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm Joe McGuire, President of the Morning View Neighborhood Association. I don't know if everybody...
Thank you.
Now, next Morning View stand up is against it right now. Would everybody stand up who's come to support this? Yeah.
Thank you.
We reported, we're just going to try to find out, we reported this in July. Nothing happened. First inspector said no violation there. I sent them a copy of the ordinance and everything. Nothing was done. Then they said they had to go back. They went out and they said they had to go maybe zoning or something like that and then postpone. But the RV has been sitting there since July. It hadn't been moved. So we would like to get it out of the way as soon as possible. We hadn't reported any others because we didn't know what was going to happen on this one. But we want to keep a good, clean neighborhood and go by the city ordinance. Whatever the city ordinance says, we're going to back it 100%. But we just want to appreciate everybody coming and our councilman coming and showing up. And like Marie said, if they put it in the backyard, they'll have to go on the side street through Brentwood. And we prefer them not be jumping curb to have a driveway put in to go in off the curb, because they'll have to jump the curb to go in the backyard. And I understand they had to put a privacy fence up there because they've got a lot of pit bulls, pit bulls, and they're sitting right behind Morning View School where the kids play. So we got two things at that one corner house that's concerning the neighborhood. There was the pit bulls there, and there's some RV. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to address this particular item?
I'm Cruz Reeves, Midtown Montgomery Neighborhood Alliance. Morning View Association is a member of the Alliance, and we support them in their protest for this. And to pass this would just open a can of worms where other neighborhoods people be wanting approved do the same thing. So we support them in their endeavor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions, board members?
Yes. I'd like to know if there are other RVs in the neighborhood. Can maybe the president of the association answer that question for me?
Well, Mr. McGuire, you want to come up and address that? The petitioner, the spokesman of the petitioner stated a while ago there were others, but we deal with those on a case-by-case basis.
Yes, sir. There's other RVs parked. But like I say, we reported this, as I just said, in July on this RV, and other RVs is in the neighborhood. It's no use to report it if you can't get one moved, if you know what I mean, with the city. So since y'all denied this, we're going to move on with 311 and report the others. The others two have been reported, but no action has been taken yet. I probably can speak for the Morning View and Forest Hills and Leos and everybody. We don't mind an RV coming in, parking in the driveway overnight, unloading and reloading and getting the stuff ready to take another trip. But, you know, 24 hours should be the maximum amount of time an RV is sitting in a driveway or in front of a house, period. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
I asked the
She
question.
posed the question. Thank you.
Well, she was asking about the other RVs in the neighborhood. But we reporting every RVs.
We got it.
We got it. But
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
my
you.
other question to you is, would you all be receptive to the idea of them moving the RV to the backyard so that it's behind the house?
Me? Well, right now, we've had so much trouble with this. Of course, your ordinance says it has to be out of sight. And like Ms. Updike said, the RV, as you can see, is pretty tall, and you can see it over the privacy fence.
It's-
And
Doesn't
it's
say
got
it
a
has-
sore, it's already made a sore in the neighborhood for the RV and parked there. If they'd moved it and tried to work with it, it might have been different. But if they come back and try to park in the backyard, it could be repercussions. But there's plenty of storages placed around Montgomery that they can put the RV in to be out of the way, and they can bring it and load it and take it out and go.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And,
Mr.
Councilman, you got something else you want to say?
Just short, I believe it's the council that drafted and adopted and put this ordinance in place, and I think we have to enforce it as is, and I think if it needs to be changed, we need to change it. I don't even think coming before and asking for a variance to park an RV is the proper channels to even do this, but that's all I have to say.
That's what we're here for, is
Thank
to
you.
grant variances. Of course, we go by what's in the zoning code.
to do with buildings, though, or what have you.
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
right here. Just looking at the 10.5, just to correct the neighborhood, where it says substantially hidden from public view, the way we judge these is basically if they're behind the setback line and if there's some sort of a fence that substantially hides it. Doesn't mean that the whole entire RV has to be hidden, but if only half of it is hidden by some sort of a solid wooden fence, that's what we consider to be substantially hidden from public view.
Okay.
So if this was behind the setback line or behind in the backyard,
It might be.
and there was some sort of a fence that substantially hid it, then that would be fine.
It might be, but
in
we're
our-
not
in our-
going to make that approval. We're
I
dealing with what we got
understand,
right
I understand,
now.
but
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we deny this request based on the fact that the general consensus of the neighborhood association does not want it.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I would like to add to that. I understand what
Okay.
he's saying, but I think our reason would be that it is not in compliance with what Section 10.5 on recreational vehicles demands.
We can go with that. It's not an approved travel trailer park.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. All right, so restate your motion, and then I want to hear the
A
second.
motion to deny this request based on two facts: that it's not wanted by the neighborhood association and it is not stored in an approved travel trailer park. Basically, the Section 10.5 ordinance from the city of Montgomery.
Thank you.
Have a motion approved. Have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
You said motion, it's
Excuse me.
motion to deny.
The motion to deny, based upon the reasons given by Mr. Reese. Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Opposed? The request to maintain the recreational vehicle has been denied.
Okay.
So you'll need to inform Mr. Perry that he does need to remove it as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3 is presented by William Rhodes, requesting a special exception to place a mobile home for living purposes on a parcel of land on the east side of Mobile Highway, approximately 1,200 feet south of Old McGee Road in an Ag 1 zoning district. Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, sir. We're intending to put a mobile home there, and my father-in-law is, so that him and his wife, as they get a little older, my wife and I can help take care of them. We've already talked to the engineer on the septic tank system. It's been designed. We've talked to the DOT on the driveway, talked to the power company, and we have sufficient land there to put it, you know.
Okay, tell me again, who is intended to live here?
My mother-in-law and father-in-w, my wife's
Okay,
parents.
it's family
Yeah,
members.
Yeah, he's 86 and she's 80, so they want to get a little closer to us so we can help take care of them.
Yes, sir. So it's family members, no rental?
No rental, no, sir. Be strictly family members only.
Okay. And it's about 100 feet off of the front property line?
Yes,
is that
sir.
correct? At least that?
At least that much, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item?
Entertain a motion.
I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Brown?
I move that we grant the request.
Have a motion to approve. Have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Howell. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item 4 is presented by Sandra Price, requesting a height variance.
I have some photographs that I would like for you all.
Hold on, I have to read the item here. Bear with me. Requesting a height variance and a front yard variance for a privacy fence located at 2624 Argyle Road in an R85 zoning district. Okay,
Yes, I have photographs.
okay.
And I'm here to request variance for the height of the fence in the front yard. The fence was put up because there were quite a lot of trees on the property that were diseased and had to be removed. The majority of them had grown up in the fence, and the original fence was damaged and was replaced with a wooden fence, as you can observe in the package that I've given to you. And I've put in some before and after so you
Okay.
can see where the original fence was in regards to the new fence.
Did this come in as a complaint? Do we know?
Ms. Price said she received a complaint, but we can't find a record of it.
Really? Okay,
Yeah, I was served
so
a
you
citation
just
and
you had the fence installed,
Yeah, the fence was already installed,
and,
yeah.
and you thought you were compliant?
I thought I was not aware that I needed to get a permit to do the
Okay.
fence.
All right.
And it's already installed. That's why I have the photographs for you to see the before and after.
I've seen it.
Is it 6 feet tall?
Yes,
Okay,
all around.
okay. Okay. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item?
Entertain a motion.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we grant the variance.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Mr. Prince? Okay. It's
Okay,
approved.
thank you.
I believe that was unanimous.
Was that unanimous?
I think so.
Ms. Price,
Was that unanimous?
you get the letter from her, don't forget to come get a permit.
Yes, I did.
Get that permit.
Right.
George, y'all got any questions? We've already voted on it.
I know.
Item 5 is presented by Michael Benton, requesting a rear yard variance for an accessory structure located at 2263 Country Club Drive in an R65S zoning district. This has to do with a partially constructed accessory structure that comes within 3 feet of the rear property line, where 5 feet is required, and a complaint was filed on this. Okay.
I'm requesting on the back of the yard, a 2-foot variance from the fence.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you some questions about the structure, okay? It'll help us. What, it's 3 feet off the property line, okay? What is the structure? It's partially constructed. Why is it partially constructed? Why is it not finished? Did you stop in the middle
Because they,
of the complaint?
right.
Okay. So what's there now? The slab and any walls?
No, it's built, it's just not completed. It's a storage building.
A storage building,
Yes.
that's all?
Yes.
No hobbies?
Pardon?
No hobby work? No toilets, no plumbing? Okay. No living quarters?
No,
Okay, it's just for storage?
strictly.
Okay. Why do you think you received a complaint? Do you know?
I have no idea. We don't, why did we receive a complaint? We don't know. We don't know
Okay.
who complained and we don't know why.
Okay. Is the water that comes off of this structure intended to come off this structure? Where's the water going to go?
He's asking about the water.
Is it going to stay on your property?
It's a short span of roof on a hip roof, and we poured 5 gallons of water from the roof to see if it would go over the fence, and it didn't. But I did call Mike McBride, who owns Montgomery Seamless Gutters, and I asked him, I said, if I have to, I said, can you create a gutter system right at this edge to catch the water if there's any complaint of that? And he told me, he said he'd be glad to. He said that should stop any water from going into the park.
Well, that is going to be a requirement of this board, that whatever water comes off, you maintain it, you keep it on your property.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And that may be what the complaint was. They may have been concerned about that. Don't know. I'm going to ask in a moment if somebody wants to come up, if that person may be here. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? I don't suppose the complaint is here. Okay? Any questions, board members? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we grant the request with the understanding that no water is to go on your neighbors in any way.
That no water goes over.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
No.
Second. Mr. Reese, any further discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. You okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Item 6, presented by Stuart Graydon. Mr. Graydon here? Mr. Graydon, okay. Requesting a rear yard variance for an addition to a dwelling located at 328 Ryan Street in an R60S zoning district.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Graydon?
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Last fall, my house burned down because of Glade air freshener caught on fire, burned up 2 automobiles, animals in the house. So I have a small house, 600 square feet on Ryan Street, and I want to build a room for another bedroom with a place for a washer dry on the back of it.
So you're going to add on to the rear of the existing home?
That is correct,
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be a room, a livable room?
Correct.
Okay, got it. And it's be 12 feet off of 8 feet off the rear property line.
Excuse me?
8 feet off the rear property line. 8 feet off the rear property line.
It's
And
8 feet
so-
off, yes,
and
correct,
you're going to
sir.
retain your water on your site, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Any question, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? I'll entertain a motion.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I went out to see this. I saw the front yard. Your front yard has a fence around it, right? Am I at the right house? It has a fence in the front.
May I come up and listen to her? I can't hear
Yes, sir,
very
you
well.
can.
Okay. You have a fence in the front. Okay, I was looking at the right house then. Thank you. Thank you.
You got it?
Yeah.
Make sure you had the right one.
Very sure I was talking
All right.
about it.
Mr. Reese, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant this request for the rear yard variance.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we've lost Mr. Howell. He had to go to another meeting. So we have 7 members here. Item 7 is presented by Don Cochran, requesting a side yard variance for an addition to a dwelling located at 3406 Prince George Drive in an R85 zoning district. Mr. Cochran?
Yes, sir. I'm requesting the variance for a two-car carport on the side of my house.
Okay, you're gonna be 1 foot off the side property line.
Yes, sir, be a foot off the property line. It will have gutters and downspouts, and I'll keep
Okay.
all the water on my side.
Okay,
It's aluminum, and it'll match the color of my house.
okay. So it's an open carport?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions? Board members?
The only thing, when I passed by there, I saw a for sale sign, in your yard.
No, sir. Or no, ma'am, excuse me. You saw the sign for the meeting. No for sale sign.
No for sale sign.
Anyone in the audience care to address this item? I'll entertain a motion.
I'm,
Mr. Reese?
move that we grant this request for the side yard variance.
Okay.
Second.
Have a second. Was it Ms. Shaw? Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Abstain. So that's 6 votes for and 1 abstention. Okay, you approve?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Item 8, presented by Larry Speaks and Associates, representing Divine Touch Ministries Worldwide, requesting a master plan approval for a church complex to be located at 1 Harnish Hill in an Ag 1 zoning district.
Hi, my name is Paul McClendon with Larry Speaks and Associates, and on behalf of Divine Touch Ministries, we are seeking master plan approval for a 27-acre site off of Bell and Remington Roads. The property was previously granted a church use exception at the August Board of Adjustments meeting, but it was requested that we come back and get master plan approval as well.
I don't think we granted any approval at the last meeting, did we?
Yeah.
We granted the use approval.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. All right, excuse me.
So as you can see, it's a little over 27 acres, or almost 28 acres, I'm sorry. There are 3 existing buildings on site that will remain. One is currently an office. It will remain as an office. There is an open-air structure that will be enclosed to be used as a meeting facility. And there's currently a house that will remain to be used for guest housing. We're working through some logistics with the fire department and Montgomery Water Works to provide fire protection to the site. And the site is accessed through a 60-foot ingress egress utility easement, also known as Harness Hill Road, and that is off of Remington Road. And we'll be glad to answer any questions.
This is just for approval of the master plan.
Yeah, this is approval for the master plan that they've come back with.
Okay.
I think y'all were here, or they were here, what, 2 months ago?
Correct.
At that meeting, there were some concerns expressed about access off of Bell Road. And then there was a request that I made about meeting with the neighborhood association. So let's start off by addressing those 2 questions about access on Bell Road and what attempts have been made to meet with the neighborhood association, because I believe several of them are here and obviously they've got a lot of questions.
Right.
Okay? And other questions that I'm going to have is, how's the arena intended to be used? And then this issue of living on site in the house, okay? To what extent is that going to be? Because you're in an ag zoning, you're not in a residential zoning.
Right.
But this board does have the authority, the right to approve use for living quarters, but we've granted those in the past, but with limitations. Okay? So I'll let you address, and members of your group address those questions that I have and the concerns Because what I want to do is get as much of the information from you now, okay?
Right.
So that we don't have to go back and forth with questions and answers, because you've got some opposition here or some folks that have some concerns.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, regarding the access question off of Bell Road, it is an option.
Excuse me. Address the first question, though, of a meeting with the homeowner association. What have y'all done? Because if that's inadequate, we got to know what you've done.
Right,
okay?
that attempt has been made.
Otherwise, we may be here 2 hours dealing with this.
Right.
Hi, my name is Pastor Recker. I'm one of the pastors here. Mr. Stanley, to answer your question, we did meet with Chris and his wife to answer any concerns that they had as far as meeting.
Who is Chris?
Chris is the new president of the Home Association, who's the president of the Watch, make sure that everything is taken care of. We did meet with him and his wife. We addressed the concerns that they had about the property. We gave them our numbers. I gave them 3 different numbers, and we were aware of the meeting, but they never told us where the location of the meeting was going to be held, and so they made no attempt to bring us into their meeting. But we did answer all their questions.
But you met only with Chris?
Chris and his wife.
Okay.
Even before meeting Chris, I met with one other person who is a resident of the neighborhood, Henry. And during the period I met with him, with Tom Katosh, 3 of us had a meeting to enable us meet the then president, the former president, before Chris took over, because Chris took over the present president of the neighborhood just recently. So the former president was Bill. So when we had a meeting, myself, Tom, and Henry, so he reached to Bill. So Bill said he's going to get back to me, which he never did. So in the meeting, because we intended to go and meet them and talk as you advised us to do. So they avoided us coming. And Chris took over the presidency, which the 2 pastors here met with him again, bringing to him what you advised us to do. He said he's going to get back to us, which he never did. We're only seeing them here now.
I'm Pastor McNeil, Bishop's assistant pastor. Myself and Mr. Recker did go and meet with Mr. Chris. We sat down with him for about an hour and a half. And his wife came in, and we talked with her, and we met all their concerns. And we gave him 3 phone numbers. My number, Brian Recker's number, and Bishop Okaffa's number. And she assured us that she was going to text us the address. Now, when we asked them for the address, where the location was going to be for the meeting that night, they didn't know, is what they told us. It was going to be between 2 houses, but which house, they did not know. So I asked him, I said, well, if you don't know, please, please, please text us the information so we can come in and assure the community the demands that they're asking, that we can all be on one accord. Amen.
And that's what we want to happen.
Yes.
We all want to be of one accord. And it's common for when there's a petitioner that has some opposition, you get together.
Right.
Okay? So that you can make our job a lot easier. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So, before you make your presentation, have y'all got someone, Chris here, that, who's Chris?
Chris is not here.
And let's, come on up, if you will. I want our board to decide whether or not we're going to delay this since y'all have not had a meeting. Okay? Go ahead.
The only thing I would add, so we had a homeowners meeting on Thursday of last week. As of that morning, the appointment of me as new president had not been made. I did sit down and discuss with the church. I have a previous relationship with them, so I felt like it was an opportunity for me to kind of communicate with them the concerns of the neighborhood. At that point, they did make the offer to come and speak with us. They did leave multiple numbers. I did, in good faith, call those numbers and leave messages. Unfortunately, we never did sync up. I failed to follow up. I believe that they failed to follow up also. So no, we haven't had a chance to meet. But that night, I was appointed president, and so that kind of, I wanted to kind of clear up that confusion.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to say something about that meeting. This was our neighborhood
I know who
an
you are,
annual
but
dinner,
Pat,
and they called
Pat,
that
you need to
day.
introduce yourself. You need to introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm Pat Budney. This was an annual dinner that our neighborhood has, and they had a month to contact us. They contacted us that day to show up at this dinner. I did not think it was the appropriate time. They had plenty of opportunity to talk to us within that whole month period, but they never came up. We as a neighborhood are not opposed to them having a church in the neighborhood. What we are opposed to is that them accessing, coming through our neighborhood. We have kids, there's a lot of, we want to maintain the integrity of our neighborhood. We don't need, traffic through the neighborhood.
Excuse me. That's not what I'm asking for right now.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
Okay, about the meeting, they contacted us that day.
We understand, but that's not what I'm asking for.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
What we're trying to determine, is it up to us to say we're going to delay this until y'all do get together? Okay?
Okay. I don't think we need
Everybody,
to.
board members?
I don't think we need to delay it.
Well,
We need
I'm
to
going
make
to
a
ask
decision tonight.
for a motion, and then we'll decide.
I make a motion that we delay until they have a meeting and come back after they hash it out amongst themselves.
Okay. Have a motion to delay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion to delay this to the next meeting, raise your hand. Motion fails. Okay? So we're going to proceed to hear it. So it's not going to be delayed. Unless the petitioner wants to delay it. Okay? And I will say this. I'm going to give you the option of whether you want to delay it. Okay? Listen. I'm going to give you the option of whether you want to delay it. Okay? Because if the motion to approve tonight is made to approve it, it's got to have 5 votes. Okay? So, do you want to delay it, or do you want us to hear it?
I have a question first.
And if you delay it, I'm going to ask that you meet with the neighborhood and be good neighbors.
All right, my question is this. We talked to them. They said they only meet once every 6 months. If that's the case, you're telling us we can wait.
No, we'll meet anytime. That was our neighborhood dinner. You were not privy to that one. We'll meet anytime we can find mutually convenient. That's the difference. We'll meet anytime, but you can't call us the day of our neighborhood dinner and ask us to
I wanted to make sure that was said.
Okay. All right? Do what?
Let's delay it.
I can't hear you speaking to that.
Let's delay it for next
Delay.
meeting. That's
Good.
fine. Okay.
All right? You'll have
What
to,
was the statement he made?
they want to delay it. The petitioner wants to
He
delay it
said something else too.
until they get back together. And then you
He said to
can
meet with
come
the
back
neighbors.
next month, or you can come back in December, okay?
Next
But
month.
I recommend you get with them, y'all work out the details, so that we don't have to hear it and we don't have to set requirements on you, okay? We're gonna minimize that, okay? And I think you know the concerns.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Good. All right?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I still want to know what he said. He said until the next meeting, didn't you?
He said he agreed to delay, okay?
And come back next meeting.
Whatever. But I said you can come back next meeting. Now you come back in January, but come back when? After you've met, okay?
No, you see why I'm saying next meeting is because we're already paying for
That's
the 2
fine.
places. We're paying for where we are now and paying for the new place.
That's fine. You can
So
come
that
back
is,
next meeting.
yeah, next meeting is better. We'll come back.
We're gonna hear it at the next meeting.
All right. Supposing
Okay?
they still
And I
avoid.
believe that's November 17th, right? Yes.
Can we have a date set that we can meet
Yes,
with them
we
first?
can-
I'm gonna let y'all set it.
Well, if they're not going to agree with the date before we set with you, we don't want to delay it then.
I think your opposition has said they're going to meet with you, okay?
Okay.
And we expect y'all to do that.
Yes, sir.
Work out as many of your details as you can, because if you don't, then we'll work them out for you, and it may not be to your satisfaction.
And may I add that, are they able to use the facilities until?
No.
Okay. And we are to agree upon access in the housing and any other concerns, correct?
Whatever y'all can agree to. And you may not can agree to 100% of those items, and if you can't, then we'll set forth those requirements. That's why it's much better for y'all to work it out.
But it's not to be used until after we get this.
That was our decision last time.
That's
That
what
is
we
correct.
thought.
Because I don't
it
believe
has
it's
been.
met all
It has been
kinds
used
of
for cleaning.
codes, and
Okay, well, there's been
I think there's some city
that's
issues.
fine.
I think there's some city requirement issues that haven't been met, some safety codes.
What-
But they didn't have a
But
master
we've not
plan the
approved-
last time they
We've
were
not
here.
approved the master plan, which means you don't have the authority to use it yet.
But we can be cleaning it and doing some work there.
Sir?
We can be doing some work like cleaning.
Sure, you can
Yeah,
do
that's
the
what we've
work
been
if you
doing.
want to. That doesn't mean we're going to approve it.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean we're gonna disapprove.
That's right. But you can do whatever you want to do on the property, but you're at your own risk. Okay?
Well, question.
Yes, sir.
Is the new president here of the association?
He is.
Well, he's here now.
Yeah.
And they're here.
Yeah.
Why, they seem to have some concerns about the date you're going to meet, but you can't give them a date that you're going to have the meeting.
They're going to walk out there and they're going to set their own meeting.
Okay, that's what they have to do because we.
Yeah. You got it? We'll see you in next month.
But it has to be between now and the next meeting. Because they want to meet at the next meeting. I was saying that you need to set the meeting up between now and the next meeting.
Sure.
Because they want to be at the next meeting.
Exactly.
Right.
We're going to do it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. All right, have an approval of the minutes.
Minutes also.
Have a motion to approve, have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Have an adjournment of the meeting?